Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the semifinals of the trios event of the World Men's Championship here in Abu Dhabi. Let me introduce to you the teams which will be bowling for the semifinal matches. Both matches will be played at the same time. Let's start with the bowlers of lane 7 and 8. The top seed from USA, Mike Fagan, Sean Rash, and Marshall Kent. And their opponent, the 4th seed, from Australia, David Porto, Sam Cooley, and Jason Belmonte. Team USA has chosen the medium pattern to bowl on lane 7 and 8. Now here are the bowlers in the other semi-final match. Bowling on lane 11 from Denmark, Frederick Ergo, Karsten Hansen, and Thomas Larsen. And their opponent from Korea, Park Jong-woo, Hong Hae-sol, and Kim Kyung-min. Denmark has chosen the long pattern. The winners of these two matches will bowl in the final match, which will immediately follow this match. Bowlers, as soon as you're ready, you may start with your game. Good luck.
All right, ready to get started with our trios medal round here at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. USA versus Australia and Denmark versus Korea. I'm Lucas Wiseman. We're live from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates at the Khalifa International Bowling Center, along with Chris Barnes. Hi, Chris. How are you today?
I'm good, except for the bowling part. So.
Well, the good news is that your teammates have made it into the medal round, and they are going to take on Australia. One-game match. You just combine the total pinfall for each of the three players, and that is how we determine the winner of the match. As Mike Fagan starts with a strike. Mike was pretty incredible today, wasn't he? He
was the lead of a great effort that these guys put together this morning, shooting, 330 over, I think, for the three-game block this morning. And Mike had about 190 of that himself, so I'm sure they're looking for a little bit more of that today, especially in this first game.
So the lineups for the United States: Mike Fagan, Sean Rash, Marshall Kent. And for Australia, it's David Porto, Sam Cooley, and Jason Belmonte. As you take a close look at Sean Rash there. The other match we will keep an eye on as we move along here is we've got a camera down on Denmark versus Korea. We've got Frederick Orgaard, Karsten Hansen, Thomas Larsen, Park Jong-woo, Hong Hae-sol, and Kim Jong-min taking on each other in the other semifinal. Both semifinals happening simultaneously here today. A little different than what we had seen in the previous medal rounds.
Yeah, with trios it just takes a long time to get everything done, and to do them separately, this thing would drag on. And team events 9 a.m. tomorrow. This would get over probably closer to 10:30 if they drug it out individually. So I think it was a good decision all in all.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more hectic for the live streaming, but overall it does get done a bit quicker, and we do have the ability to show both matches. So if one match becomes much more compelling than the other one, we'll focus on that one. But for now, we'll focus on 7 and 8 because that's where our TV feed is from, which gives us nice pictures from here in Abu Dhabi. Marshall Kent comes up light.
Marshall throwing an old flame urethane ball from the 90s.
Almost
had pretty good success with that, especially early in the blocks. Later on, it kind of goes away, but perfect for this one-game match. There's a lot of pretty good stories here, really. The Australian team, we were bowling right next to them, and really kind of giving them up for dead. They hadn't done a whole lot on the medium, and we flipped ends down there, and pretty soon they put a bunch of strikes together, shot 730, and everybody kind of fell apart at the end. The other Korean team shot 590. Sweden's second team shot 620. We shot nothing. We shot 650, which was largely Tommy. And all of a sudden they found themselves all the way up into fourth with a chance to sneak in here. And Denmark yesterday on the long, which they picked, not surprisingly, they just mauled them for 330 over. Took a huge lead out of block squad 1, and really nobody threatened that number all day long.
Jason Belmonte, Australia's anchor bowler, bowled 268 the last game to help get them in. They ended up making it by just a handful of pins.
And for him, he threw his urethane here early in this first game and then switched to reactive later, and his look was better later. So it'll be interesting to see if he has enough firepower to keep up. This medium pattern has been pretty good on the left, and David has been a pretty solid player this whole week. So he's really the one that needs to carry the banner probably early on the fresh.
Well, it's a good start right there. And let's check in with our other match here real quick. They're still in the first frame. A couple of early opens, one for each team, but pretty even so far as Kim Min strikes for Korea. We may not be able to show you the scoreboards as frequently here, so keep an eye on the live scoring if you would like to see the scoreboards for each of the match. You can find that at worldbowling.org. Mike Fagan kicks things off with a double. Team USA with an early 10-pin lead now on Australia.
Remind if you do see if we do flip back and forth, the two pairs will be playing completely different as the short pattern, the medium pattern, which is 38 feet Atlanta pattern that Australia and USA are bowling on, has played with a lot of friction guys throwing a lot of urethane between 5 and 10 mostly, not too many people outside of that. And the longer 43-foot pattern is Tokyo, I believe,
yep.
Has been playing. Guys starting with surface have been 12, 13, moving into 16, 17 pretty quickly.
Take a look over at Frederick Orgard, who was pretty spectacular today, helping them to get into the medal round. They had a chance to get the number 1 seed, but just fell a little bit short at the end, 3 pins short.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't bowl all that great on the medium. They started off awfully good, but struggled down the stretch, and game 3 didn't need a lot to take the lead, and so they did hang on to get choice in this match. If USA doesn't win, they'll get choice in the second match. If USA wins and Denmark wins, then USA will have choice in the final match.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching our live coverage of the Trios medal round here at the World Championships. As Jason Belmonte starts with a double.
Really good start for them. The left-hander with the only miss, ironically enough, and this medium pattern is generally acknowledged as being a little bit, seemingly a little bit better on the left than the right, but USA off to an okay start though with a double with Mike and then a strike spare with Sean and Marshall Kent bowling here with a spare up. Going to be at least 10 down either way with the extra doubles that the Australians have.
Do us a favor, post the link to the live stream on your Facebook or Twitter. I just got on and did that. So hope that you will as well. We'll try to get some more folks tuned in watching the live stream. That's the best way to spread the word, is through social media. So please take a moment and update your social media. Didn't look like Marshall liked that one very much, but it struck. So pretty close match. 10-pin lead for Australia.
And sometimes when you use the urethane balls, they have such a different shape to them. They can fool you. When you get them in, sometimes they'll hold a lot more than traditional balls today. Caveat is when you get them right, they don't hook back nearly so much. But so U.S. down by 10. Korea just doubled over on the other pair to go up by 10 with their second bowlers, and Thomas Larson with a ringing 10-pin. Korea has a chance to double to go up by 20. Mike Fagan on a double.
Yep, try to stay perfect. Gets that 10 out.
Boy, it looks like he's really going to have to stay on top of it if Belmonte is going to strike to go along with it. Cooley, because he has to use so much more angle than the rest of the players, I would expect him to run into some transition trouble in the middle here somewhere. Typically, this pattern is carried down a little bit, frames 4, 5, and 6. So
3-6. Sorry, 2-4 leave for the lefty, David Porto. And Sean Rash steps up. Pretty fast and furious action here. Both semifinals happening at the same time. Final will be coming up immediately after this as Sean Rash strikes in the third. Back over to Frederick Orgod.
Another interesting note this year, they allowed players to change one ball out during competition. So you could check 6, but you could alternate one in and one out as a one-time move only. And Sean opted this morning to bring in I believe it's an LT48 ball into play, a lower pin ball with no hole that really helped him out and became a big contributing factor into their run today.
There's a look at the scoreboard. USA on the left, Australia on the right. I'll try to show that to you every few frames or so as we move along here. I know it's easier to follow the action if you know the score. But it's a lot going on here at once as Marshall Kent leaves the 9-pin.
On that one a little too much after the last one didn't hook enough. Korea with all strikes up in the second frame and up 20 pins. And Frederick missing on his first shot over here, leaving the 1-2-4-8. But Zhangwoo Park goes high for the 3-6-10, and the lead is going to stay around 20, looks like, through.
Now Cooley with a split, 2-10 split in the third frame.
Our viewpoint over here is not that great. I missed the part where David missed that 2-4 spare. So evening the match back up here a little bit. Cut up. Technically they're ahead, but still got a couple of strikes left to go here. Zhangwoo makes the 3-6-10. Frederick makes his spare as well. Still a 20-pin lead for Korea through 2 1/3 frames.
Moving right along, aren't we? Karsten Hansen for Denmark up now, working on a strike. It's been a slow start for Denmark in this match. They got to pick the pattern.
Wow, there looks like there's a lot of wiggle here. And one of the things about this longer pattern, how you break them down, is huge in the scoring pace. And the Korean team tends to play much deeper than most players do. And so as Denmark plays how they have been from 15, 16, 17 to around the 9-10, 7-8, 9-10 range, nobody's made that track hook. And so you're seeing shots like Carson's 2-pin right there.
Belmo rips the rack for 3 in a row.
Not sure there's anybody in the world more dangerous than him once he starts striking, even with urethane. Just kind of negates a little bit of his power advantage by having to throw that, but
looks like the U.S. is up a couple of marks here.
Yeah,
early on.
The early open and Fagan matching Belmonte's 3-bagger now. It's really it's a 12-pin game, 13-pin game at this point. USA up by 13. It's a double by Korea. They're up by 30 now. Good shot there. See if David can settle in and kind of get into a groove. And I really think he's going to be the key to this match over there, is if he can get into a groove and throw a 4 or 5-bagger and clearly put some heat on.
Denmark, 3 frames in, has not had a double yet, and Korea with a chance to put 2 triples on the board to start. So Denmark in an early hole as we go back over to see if Mike Fagan can stay perfect here in the 4th frame.
Thomas Larsson's thrown 3 great shots and has nothing but 9 spares to show for him.
Well, Mike Fagan gets another one. That is the front 4 for Fagan.
Yeah, it looks like he and Belmonte are going to be going head on, and the other 2 guys are going to kind of battle it out a little bit to see
Front
See
three
where
for
it's going to
Kim.
last. They're pushing that lead up to 40 now for Korea.
Yeah, Korea in control after just 3 frames, but these matches
Yeah.
can change a bit pretty quickly.
40 is not that much in a trios match, but they do need to be. Denmark does need to get up and start putting some strikes up so they can fight back. You don't want this to spin out of control. With 3 spares up there, and Korea's got 2 more strikes, it could go from 40 to 60, and once you get to 80, you're going to have a hard time fighting back.
Here's Sean Rash. Strike, spare, strike to start. Now
See, that had a little.
Well,
that
might
start
go.
didn't like that start.
almost got a little bit of lucky break there, but still leaves the 3-6. A 10 popped out.
Yeah, never hurts. The less you're shooting at, the less there is to miss.
That is true. And by the way, if you haven't seen, as we take a great look inside the Khalifa International Bowling Center, packed house here tonight. If you haven't seen the video that we posted of Bill O'Neill's strike that really wasn't a strike, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/USBC, and you'll find it on there. It's over 25,000 views already.
It's really, and how many years of bowling and even all the social media, I'm not sure I've seen anything quite like the one he left there.
And the odds of getting that on camera are astronomical.
Yeah.
Just you can't put any sort of figure
It's really
on
a
it.
one in about. We were at lunch talking about. I think it's probably like a 1 in a billion shot anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then for it to actually be on somewhere where you could see it it's. Well, that's a huge momentum. Korea. You heard the big ooh in the back, and it had a pocket 7-10. It wasn't on one of the doubles, but a little glimpse of hope there as Frederick throws a perfect strike on his spare.
Belmonte pitched it right, super washout.
You can see his foot came out from underneath him there. Just slipped right
Yep.
out when he did that.
Yeah, you can see it on the replay there.
Leverage is critical to all players, but particularly for two-handers as they drive in so hard to lose balance there. And huge opportunity for the U.S. team now. As Cooley had another open. And another 9-pin by Marshall.
Tickled it, but didn't quite go down.
That's that urethane ball coming in too hard. Which you wouldn't think is possible.
Well, Belmo doesn't make this. It'd be back-to-back opens for Australia. Shooting the super washout here. He wraps it around.
Wow. That's not a nice frame for him. First one, you feel like it's not really your fault. But and then the second one, you make a virtually perfect shot at it and miss it. So big swing there. Team USA picking up 30 pins in the frame to go
up by 40
to
or
go
so.
up by about 45 now, with count maybe even a little bit more than that, actually closer to 50.
Yeah, that was the
A
last
huge frame.
the last
That's a
two
35
frames have been pretty big.
35 pin frame right there.
4 opens in the last
Yeah.
2 frames is pretty tough for Australia.
Team that can put a lot of strikes together. You saw Cooley do it in the singles, and obviously Jason is who Jason is. And I got to pull enough next to David, who I was not familiar with before now, but he can put together big strings as well. No time to let up here. If they got him down, they really need to put him down.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching, and rings a 10 pin on that shot.
Almost did on that lane last time.
Over to Thomas Larson now. Denmark has not doubled yet in this match.
They haven't, but they did escape the disaster frame where they could have really gotten way behind here and gotten 60 or 70 pins down and put a couple of strikes up. Having opened by Korea, they left a 4-pin on the other shot, so get one double that basically stay even in a frame where they had your opponent has all 3 strikes and you have none. You're
Take a look at the scoreboard in the U.S. versus Australia match. I've only got 3 cameras, so I can only show you one scoreboard, but you can follow the Denmark-Korea scoreboard on the live scoring. But you can see where in the 5th frame, the U.S. has the lead by about 40 pins or so.
I'll do my best to keep you updated on the other frames right now. It's it's right at a 39-pin lead, and Korea goes light again. The left lane seems to be giving both teams a little bit of trouble, a little wiggle down lane over there. So 38 pins. Denmark really escaped a potentially bad frame.
Well, Sam Cooley maybe back on track after a couple of opens. Once again, great crowd tonight here at the Khalifa International Bowling Center. A fantastic bowling center, by the way. I have to say, one of the top bowling centers I've been in the world.
It's hard to believe this place is 15 years old. It really is. I walked in here for the first time last week and it looks like it's brand new.
Yep.
It's set up as well as you can set up a center for a tournament like this. You have pull-out stands in the back. Otherwise, there's a huge concourse, and even with the pull-out stands, there's still a nice-sized walkway in front.
Really,
lots of room in the concourse, and somehow in '99, when you think about how much technology has advanced in 15 years, this place seems to want for nothing.
If you were going to design the perfect bowling center for a tournament competition, this might be it. As Belmo leaves a big split.
It really is. It's easy to see from the concourse. It sets up about 3 feet above there. The stands set up above that. They start about 2 feet above that and go up.
As you take a look right now at the pull-out stands, kind of like if you're in the U.S. a high school basketball gym.
Yeah, but much nicer. They're actually They're actually plastic.
You pull them out from the wall, and that way they can push them in when they're not using them. But
yeah,
full house tonight.
Not just metal bleachers or wooden bleachers, but actual. They're comfortable to sit in. So.
If there's one thing we've learned here in our trip to the UAE, it's that they pretty much do first-class everything here.
Yeah.
Marshall Kent with a strike.
Good shot. You saw Jason actually go high for the 3-6, 7-10, and that's one of those things where the last ball doesn't hook. It's hard to subconsciously not get more on the next shot, and that's looked like he grabbed it. Frederick Ogard here on with their first double.
That's right, they finally got it.
I feel your pain, gentlemen. 5th frame, first double. Got it. And Korea also struck over there, and that game is actually down to 29 pins.
I was saying, it's pretty close.
28 pins.
Korea had a chance to really kind of start to pull away a little bit.
They could have played to 60 within the open and no doubles. They actually lost pins. Lost pins in a very good frame.
What a break there, breaking up the split for the lefty. Over to David Porto now for Australia. He's turned it up a notch here, 3 in a row. Maybe sensing that his teammates need a little bit of help.
Yeah, I think he likes that right lane. It's the left lane that gives him a little bit of trouble. Karsten looks like he made a ball change as well. He's got a strike up now. Denmark starting to look like they're getting a little more comfortable here.
Well, before this match, Korea and Denmark, Park Jung-woo told me he was really nervous. He's the one who won the doubles gold medal, and he's shown it so far. As we watch Mike Fagan now.
Didn't go through the pins as well, but the result is better. So
now the anchor bowler for Korea, Kim. 999 spare to start for Kim.
He's playing an arrow deeper than everyone else, and he leaves a perfect 9-pin.
Wow, that was brutal right there.
That was like you draw it up. With the 1 goes down the left side row, just right down the rail. The 3 goes down the 6-10. And the ball chopped the 5 right off the 9. Tells you some kind of angle that he can create. Playing an arrow deeper than everyone else. A good shot by Cooley there on a strike for a ringing 10. And that's a brutal one for him after 2 splits, trying to get back on track. Opportunity for Sean Rash to help his team take some lead.
Thomas Larson just can't get a break this game.
He's got another ringing 10. I think that's 4 already this game in 5 shots.
Over to Sean Rash.
Much better shot that time. It's all about rhythm for Sean. He gets it in there, drops it in the swing and gets in the right place. Posts up shots like that. He doesn't miss too much.
2 pretty competitive matches so far. Nobody's really blown anybody out at this point.
Oh, and I would have expected that.
But Sam just missed it. 3 opens in the last 4 frames for Sam Cooley.
The 8 split, 7 splits are hard enough, but you can't have 9 splits.
Yep.
The 9 splits are killers. And in a match like this, and high level all across the board, it's not only the 10 pins, but the extra amount of pressure it puts on everybody else to try and make up.
Here's Marshall Kent now, working on a strike. Chance for the U.S. to start to build an even bigger lead. And he shreds the rack for the double.
Another good frame for them.
It feels like the U.S. is starting to turn it on here a little bit. 5 strikes in a row as a team for the U.S. right now.
Looks like they got a 46-pin lead. Make that a 66-pin lead. And that assumes Belmonte strikes. Frederick Ogard here with Denmark is now throwing a 3-bagger, and they're crawling right back in this match.
Here's Belmo, the strike, as it closes out the 6th frame. And let's take this opportunity to show you the scoreboard for that match. USA on the left, Australia on the right. Let's go over to the other semifinal now. Park Jong-woo, doubles gold medalist.
Big shot for them. Keeps their lead in the teens. Right at 17 pins right now.
Park's a cool kid. He's he loves to come over and talk to us here, and you know, he's doesn't mince any words. You know, tells you what he feels. He said he's nervous. You know, he's nervous. He said he's more nervous because he wants to help his teammates win, because it would be important for his teammates to get a gold medal for the prestige of their country, their program, personally. So it's that shows a lot about his character.
Well, at one point these guys got significant benefits, military-wise and otherwise, from that. Plus, they're rewarded with stipends for life, actually, for gold medals. It's a huge deal to win.
Yeah, Park was telling me they have a system in place, and a point system. You get points based on how many medals, what medals you've won, and that point system determines how much you will get as your stipend for the rest of your life.
And I guess Cho had maxed out on that stipend, and so he's back at home bowling league, and getting his salary to bowl on his league team at home.
Here's Mike Fagan. Oh my, what a break for a double for Fagan.
As bad a break as that ringing 10 was, he got it all back right there.
Let's look at this again here. Went high, tripped out the 4-9. Take that all day long, won't he?
Yeah, and that kind of stuff is, he probably didn't see a lot of that move earlier today, but he didn't have Jason on his pair.
That's true.
When you add an extra 525 revs onto your pair, you do a little more damage to the surface.
Speaking of somebody with revs, here's Sean Rash. Sean strikes. That is 3 in a row for him, and that is
they're starting to gap out a little bit now.
7 in a row as a team for Team USA as they're starting to pull away.
Denmark with another good frame there. They picked up now. They're down in single digits. It's just a just a 9-pin.
Let's check in on that match.
9-pin lead
Kim
for
steps
them.
up.
Cooley with an excellent comeback there after the 9 split. He can make it duck hook a little bit.
Marshall trying to continue the run of strikes here for the U.S., trying to push it to 8 strikes in a row as a team. Messenger goes well in front of the head pin, or the 10 pin, I should say.
It's a little bit odd, really. You've seen that a little bit here, is that even with urethane balls coming in at not very steep angles, normally to get that head pin that far in front, it's the ball getting too long down the lane, really driving in, really angular late, and you wouldn't think that would, with a urethane ball, you wouldn't think the head pin would get that far in front of it, but it happens quite often here.
You have to think it's pretty important for Belmo to get it going here down the stretch for them to have a chance. He's got to pretty much
really, at this point, they all have to. They're in the 60-70 down with only three frames to go.
Right, so let's flip over, take a look at Frederick Beauregard who has 3 strikes in a row. He's moving along. Each match is a different pattern, by the way. Higher seed got the pick. The Danes picked the long pattern, which is Tokyo, 43 feet.
Which they dominated on, 330 over in their 3 games there, and the U.S. picked the Atlanta pattern, 38 feet, which they shot 330 over, I believe it was this morning. If you're just joining us, I'm Chris Barnes, and joined by Lucas Wiseman, or the other way around.
Well, we appreciate you sitting in, Chris. It helps, especially in these simultaneous semifinals, to have a good set of eyes who can help me keep the score while I'm trying to flip the cameras and stuff.
In the unseen match here, both leadoff bowlers struck again. Frederick now has a 4-bagger. Jongwoo Park, the singles medalist, has a 3-bagger. And doubles gold medalist, pardon me. And
nice crowd here tonight.
Hong, he strikes on a spare. Karsten has a chance to pull his team ahead by just 1 pin.
And he does.
And does it.
Yep, 3 in a row. They're starting to get it going here.
Got great ball roll. That's basically an even match now with 3.5 frames to go.
Sean Rash strikes, so the U.S. continuing to pile it on here, and it looks like Korea-Denmark might end up being the match that comes down to the wire at this rate.
Yeah, Sean's getting comfortable too, maybe for the first time the whole week. I think early on, a lot of adrenaline, first time going to the national team after wanting to be here a long time and a hard time settling in. And today, he really got it going for the first time, and now here in this match also getting a little bit comfortable.
Light hit doesn't carry for Cooley.
And this one's getting big trouble here for...
Let's go over and take a look at...
We're really at 100 pins now.
Thomas Larson now.
Stole a strike. All they had to do is miss the pocket one time on the other lane. And that's kind of what happens. You get tired of getting 9. And I guess I'm speaking personally. I had a hard time doing the getting 9. And so, you start to move around and manipulate and switch balls and get yourself out of the pocket. And for an even bigger mistake, trying to figure out a way to strike. Marshall Kent with another strike there.
There's a look at the scoreboard for that match, and you don't really have to do a whole lot of math to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, that's turned into a 100-pin match now, and
come over and check out Korea and Denmark.
And they came back and doubled after that, so now Korea is back up by just 9 pins. Everybody on strikes, and that is a brutal.
Messenger went flying across.
Oh. Frederick Ogard now with an opportunity again to take his team back up by 2 pins.
Got 4 strikes in a row.
Oh.
Tough break. We've seen a lot of bad carry on this pair, haven't we, in this match on both sides? So we go over and look at Belmo now, working on a double.
He's gone to reactive. Now after the urethane went high a couple of shots, he bailed out of there. Got a couple of questions on the live stream. Marshall Kent is using a blue flame from about 1999, I want to believe.
Almost older than him.
Yeah, it's a storm ball, but it is a blue flame.
All right, so spare's good.
Yeah,
and
Korea's still up by 9 pins.
9 pins, yeah. Pretty easy to figure out when the marks are pretty much the same on both sides.
Yeah. These guys are both going at it pretty good from here on. And over on our other pair, David misses, and that is going to just about wrap it up.
Yeah, they're already in the 9th frame on that one. We're still in the 8th on Korea.
USA
and
just
Denmark.
basically needs to stay clean. And a little mixer strike there. He's kind of been a little all over the place, really. He had a Brooklyn 4-pin. Then he threw a great shot that didn't strike. And then a couple of mixers and some other things. He got a few in there. So Mr. Fagan, he is
cruising along, isn't
he? Man, he just put it on him the last couple days. Went from basically somewhere in the middle to right up in the top 3 of the Masters in all events. Karsten with another big strike, matching the Korean shot, keeping that into a single-digit match. This is going to come right down to a shot at the end of a game.
And don't forget, the gold medal match will be coming up immediately following these semifinals. Looks like it'll be the United States against the winner of Denmark and Korea.
And they will be bowling on the medium pattern.
No question, huh?
I'm not the coach, but I'll go ahead and take a liberty there. And this is the huge shot they were talking about.
Sean Rash,
Kim,
strike.
Kim there with the leaving a washout. And here's an opportunity for Larson and his first double. It would be a really good time for it. And there it is. The European EBT Player of the Year the last season. Had really a phenomenal season, and he's such an unassuming guy that I think sometimes people overlook him. He's got a quiet personality that doesn't scream, "Look at me," but his ball surely does. He's done a whole lot of good, and there's an open, and this thing has swung tremendously in just one frame. Denmark now with a 19-pin lead.
Messenger slices through the 10-pin for Marshall Kent.
And Team USA all strikes in the 9th, doubling up again, and that puts that match away. They're going to be 120 pins up going into the 10th frame. Nothing the Aussies can do to bring this one back.
We'll let you watch Jason Belmonte throw one more shot here, and we'll flip back over to our other match.
Just missed a little deal in the middle there. The one shot where he slipped, and then the one right after it. From then on, he switched balls, went to one of the reactives, and doubles medalist throwing a big setup shot in the 9th. These are all going to be critical in this tight match.
Crowd buzzing a little bit here as we wind down. Just try to make it so we can have a look at the scoreboard for that match. So there you go. I switched it up and moved the camera over for the scoreboard on 11 and 12 so you can take a look. It's pretty close.
Well, the Aussies are going to get the bronze, and really a pretty nice team effort. David bowled really well in a couple of stretches there. Got him through. Belmo came through in Game 6 with a huge game, and I think in Game 3 also had a really big game. Those are really the other 4 not much, and Sam Cooley, obviously the singles medalist. Much more in a team effort than most people would think, with Jason Belmonte as their captain, obviously. But all 3 guys took their turn to getting them there and didn't align for them here in this one-game match. Big strike there for Hong, the second bowler for Korea.
Karsten Hansen now for Denmark.
Can he answer? Oh, good big break there.
5 in a row for Hansen. Where do we stand in this one?
19 pins.
Take a look at the scoreboard for you. For Denmark on the left, Korea on the right.
You can see it's a 1-pin difference on the board where Denmark's behind, but the double counts for 20 pins, and the open counts for none moving forward into this next shot. So therein lies our 19-pin advantage.
Gold medal match coming up next.
Oh, another perfect shot there. This time something comes back and hits the 9. Been a brutal spot to leave another 9-pin.
That's a big carry right there.
No,
that sets them up for the 10th frame, all 3 of them with strikes.
But here's an opportunity for Thomas Larson to put his team up by 29 and give them a little breathing room where that ringing 10 doesn't put them behind.
Looks like Larson going to wait for Mike Fagan to bowl, so we'll flip over to Fagan. Fagan strikes out for 279. What a performance by Mike Fagan so far today. Shot 798 this morning and 279 to start this game. Start the medal round as
Thomas leaves the flat 10. Informed we have a bad angle. One of the guys says that Belmont's throwing a high road the whole game, and that very, very well be. We're actually 4 lanes away. In practice, he threw a lot of the pitch black and into the urethane, but and he may have been throwing that all the time.
All right, so we're going into the 10th frame. Here's another look at the scoreboard in the Denmark-Korean match, which is still to be decided. The USA is going to advance against Australia.
18 pins, the difference. Korea does have an extra strike up on the board.
So really 18 pins, not that big in the trios match.
No, when everybody's got strikes up, one ringing 10, the first ball here flips the whole thing around either way.
I guess you might say an 18
18
pin
going
lead.
to 38 is puts you really behind the 8 ball, but
I guess you might say an 18 pin lead in a trios match might be like a 6 pin lead in a singles match, kind of, if you want to compare it to that. So it's
really
pretty close.
It really is. You got a lot of frames, a lot of shots in this 10th frame between 3 guys. Ooh, a brutal ring 10 there.
Yeah, great shot.
Park did throw it good there. He needed. And here's a chance for Frederick Ogard to put the hammer down for his team. Put up 18, chance to go 28 with a strike.
United States will advance to the gold medal match. They're going to beat Australia. We're focusing on this match as it is a little bit closer. And we're just starting the 10th frame here. Gold medal match coming up next. The winner of Denmark and Korea will take on the United States, and the U.S. will have choice of pattern as the higher seed. Big shot coming up here for Frederick. Four pin.
You know, last time he left the 9 pin, looked like he didn't make a big enough move off of it. And, ball checked early on that right lane again. So looks like we're going to have basically a draw through the first bowlers, assuming both of them make their spares.
Which that would be an advantage toward the team that was leading coming into the 10th frame.
Yeah, you've shortened the match.
Yep.
Essentially 4 frames left. Though you sure would like to have the 38 pin lead versus the 18 if you could have it.
That's for sure.
Here's buying mistake room. So
that's a spare good, and it is looks like an 18 pin lead for Denmark. Watching the closing stages here of the semifinals in the trios. Gold medal match coming up next. Strike on the
count
fill.
Ball. It's actually pretty important for Korea on these count balls because it is 18 and the chance to, you want to make sure if you're the other team it doesn't sneak up to a 21 pin lead.
Belmo with a strike. Team USA going to be in the 730s this game. Australia going to be about 100 pins short of that.
This shot probably not quite so critical for Denmark. 10 pin, 17 pins. 7 is, unless you have a couple of really bad count scores in there, shouldn't be a big factor. Amani bowled a really good game there, with the exception of the 2 of them in the middle. So chance to strike out for 251. David with 206, Sam Cooley 192. Big shot for Hong. Oh.
Yep, delivers 4 in a row.
Rare lefty playing inside of 15 there.
Cuts it to 7 momentarily.
Yep.
Belmo,
Big moment for Karsten here.
another strike. Go back
Young
over.
guy with a great physical game. Chance to step up on a big stage and throw a strike for his team.
Karsten Hansen working on 5 strikes in a row. Looking to match the strike put on the board by Korea. Oh, what a shot. Ice water.
Boy, that was a no-doubter, too. He was walking back, and it wasn't to the pins yet. Youthful confidence. The guy's throwing some strikes this week.
Team USA finishes with 735. 279 for Fagan. Rash 239. Kent 217.
Belmonte strikes out here for 251. The team will shoot 649.
Belmo
A
8
little
on
less
the
than
fill.
that, so 249.
David
647.
Yep, David Porto 206. Sam Cooley 192. Jason Belmonte.
Another big shot
249.
here by Hong. That was in the middle. It stayed.
Shot for shot here in this match as Korea pulls back to within 7 here. But they're running out of time, and if
Basically a
Karsten
draw.
strikes here again,
Basically, a draw is a win for them. Although the one advantage they have is they have a strike up. Korea does, that is, has a strike up in the 9th with the anchor bowler, where Thomas Larsson is on a spare.
so another big shot here for Denmark. Oh, it went that direction, but stays up. And
Bobbled over there, and now
6 pins.
Now it's 6 pins, and really, that was a huge shot because now it's really in Korea's hands.
Yep.
Now you really want to have your own destiny in your own hands either way here, and assuming he gets good count here.
Well,
It wasn't.
good enough.
It turned out to be a lot better count than shot.
A
There,
lot of
but,
9 there. 258 for Hong. Park had 195.
Well, it's down to this 7-pin match, 1/10 frame. Kim, who washed out on this lane last time, now has to step up, and really he must throw the first strike here. I don't think Thomas Larsson's gonna miss the pocket.
The winner to face the United States in the gold medal match next. Oh, it went high, and it tickled that 4-pin late, but it doesn't go down. And now they have to hope that Thomas Larsson opens pretty much here.
Now Denmark needs Thomas Larsson to throw one good shot, just like he's been throwing the whole game. So,
put it in the pocket, make the spare if there's one left, and they'll be in good shape.
although to be honest, for Thomas, this hasn't been his better lane either. The one time he did miss the pocket, it was on this lane.
A mark to advance to the gold medal match for Denmark. That's kind of mark you can get right there.
Excellent shot. Nice reward for the EBT points leader this year.
There's the replay.
It was an excellent shot.
Shreds the rack.
The 7-pin lead here. He needs 4 pins and 2 shots to wrap this one up.
So Denmark going to move on to bowl for the gold medal against the United States. Matchup of the top 2 teams in qualifying.
Congratulations to Australia with that fantastic finish to get in, and to Korea, who put up a huge fight both in the qualifying to get here and here in the middle round. Their other Korea team just missed in the very last game. struggling on one of the in pairs on the flip, but tough go for them.
All right, so final score is Denmark 668, Korea 662. A great match, very close, but Denmark survives and advances. They will take on the United States in the gold medal match coming up next, live here on Bull TV. Australia and Korea share the bronze medal, and the gold medal match coming up next, live here on Bull TV, and we'll be back with you once they get started.
We will have a 2-minute break for oiling, and we will start the 10-minute warm-up for the finals. Medal presentations for the trios event will be held tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We would also like to invite everybody to witness the finals for the team event for the World Men's Championships, which will be held on Saturday. It will be held at around 5:30 in the afternoon. We have prepared some raffle prizes, giveaways for you to win during the finals of the team team event.
Good friends you got. Yeah.
All right, since we've got a break in the action here, waiting for the gold medal match to start, we'll bring in World Bowling President and CEO Kevin Dornberger. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Luke, I'm as good as I can be.
Let me move the mic a little bit closer to you
All
here. We are in an oil break. Obviously, they're going to re-oil for the gold medal match. So just thought we'd bring you in here to talk for a minute about the Olympic effort. Everybody wants bowling to be in the Olympics, and I know that's the number one priority for you. Where do we stand right now?
I think we're making progress. I think the IOC wants to see sports like bowling improve in areas outside of the sporting arena. They want to see us do better presentations. They want to see us have better peripheral feel. They want us to be more inclusive, bring in outside groups, outside media, and I think we're starting that process. I think our sporting event is still a wonderful event, but I think that we're starting to make our championships more of a series of events and activities rather than just a bowling tournament. I think that's the key for us to have continued success and to get real consideration in the eyes of the Olympic Committee.
What's the timeline that you're set at right now, looking at moving forward for the Olympic effort?
It's uncertain. Under the current rules, IOC would develop a short list of sports next year, somewhere between 5 and 7 sports that they would deem close to Olympic recognition. Then they'd spend a year and a half to 2 years evaluating those 7 sports, and the IOC in September 2017 would vote in Lima for one of those sports to move on to the Olympics. However, they've just spent a day in Monaco 2 days ago where they voted overwhelmingly, they voted unanimously for a broad reform package that includes opening up the Olympic Games to more sports. We don't know what that means. We don't know what the process is going to be. We know it's going to include more sports. We don't know how many. We don't know what the guidelines will be. So at worst, there'll be a short list next year, and I consider tonight and tell you that I think we'll likely be on that short list. If the process changes, I think our odds even improve more.
So you're optimistic at this point that we're at least making progress in the goal to get there, right?
I'm absolutely convinced we're making progress. We'll find out next year how much.
And what would be the significance for bowling to make it in the Olympics from not only a prestige standpoint, but it really trickles all the way down to the federation level, correct? And the local bowling
That's
center.
really where it starts. You know, we can talk about aspiration, we can talk about inspiration, very important things for young people especially. But what really is the first significant thing that happens is that we've got 205 Olympic committees around the world that all of a sudden are driven to build a bowling program, to build bowling centers, to build test facilities, to buy bowling balls, to bring in coaches, to train athletes. And I know people back home in the United States are thinking, so what? That doesn't affect us. You need to look a little further down the road. When that driver is in place, the U.S., which is probably the source for most of bowling product and knowledge right now, can export a lot more than they're exporting today. Everybody will benefit.
Yeah, it certainly would do a lot to help the health of the sport of bowling across the board, regardless of what level you play at. Whether you're a casual league bowler or a professional bowler, it'd be a big deal for bowling to be in the Olympics.
You know, I think you're right, Luke. It'd be a big deal, but I think mainly it would let us feel better about ourselves.
Yep.
It's an official recognition that we're a sport, that we're a serious sport.
Well, Kevin Dornberger, the president and CEO of World Bowling, joining us here during our break, and I know that you've had some other things on your plate in terms of looking at alternate scoring systems, stuff like that. There's a lot going on. You're a very busy man these days, aren't you?
Society is all about change, you know, and if we're not part of that change, then we're going to get passed by. There's a lot of other sports, there's Olympic sports that are changing their scoring system, changing their rules so that games happen quicker, easier to understand, more wins, more losses. You know, we have to do ourselves that service and at least look at the rules that have been in place since 1895. And I want people out there to think about that. 1895, we virtually have been unchanged in our rules and our format. It's people bowling a lot of games adding up totals, and then somebody wins, somebody loses. Sooner than that process today, we've got to have people winning and losing, and in a manner that the outside world, the outside media understand.
And World Bowling, what used to be the World 10-Pin Bowling Association, going through a bit of a transition time now, transitioning into the World Bowling brand, a new website, worldbowling.org, and a lot of excitement going on in the world of world bowling these days, isn't there?
Well, we'd gotten old. We'd gotten stale. We had an old name. We had an old French name, but the French liked it. That was about it. We had an old logo that was kind of blocky in the 70s. And we now have a name that World Bowling tells people what we do. We have a logo that's sport. Sport is movement. It's vibrancy. And our logo shows that. We have an outlook, I think, that's much more modern than it was a few years ago. The purest, the sport has always been pure until perhaps the last 15, 20 years. Now sport is, I don't know what percentage it is, let's say half entertainment and half sport. I know that the purists don't like to hear that, but it's a fact. And if we don't understand that, if we don't change with the times, then we're going to get passed by.
Kevin Durenberger, thanks for joining us and for the update. And if you want to follow World Bowling's efforts to get bowling in the Olympics, Facebook and Twitter is a good place to go. The Facebook page is World Bowling, of course, and Twitter is @WorldBowling, and I know there's a lot of updates going on there. So, Kevin, thanks for joining us, and best of luck in the Olympic effort. We hope you get us there.
Lucas, thank you, and this is part of what our Olympic effort is. It's a media that allows people all over the world to watch World Championship finals. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the start of the gold medal match here in Abu Dhabi.
doesn't help.
You're not even anybody's way now.
No. Sure.
You're doing him.
So if I streak now, would that be the first time? On a bowling?
Please don't. Streak. It's just slow motion. It's not. They can't magnify it. Okay. There's an idea. All right, so this match will be slow. Is that which one's your minute? Right, Norm?
Less than a minute away from the start of the gold medal match here in Abu Dhabi.
This is the finals of the trios event for the World Men's Championships. Here are the teams meeting for the gold medal. Bowling on lane 9 from Denmark, Frederick Ergo, Carsten Hansen, and Thomas Larsen. Bowling on lane 10 from USA, Mike Fagan, Sean Rash, and Marshall Kent. Bowlers, should we start with your game? Good luck.
All right, starting off our gold medal match here in the trios event. USA versus Denmark. United States lineup: Mike Fagan, Sean Rash, Marshall Kent. Denmark starting lineup: Frederick Orgaard, Karsten Hansen, and Thomas Larsen. As we start things off here, one game match to determine the gold medal winner in the trios event. Mike Fagan, who has been spectacular today, will kick things off. We're live at the World Bowling Men's Championships from the Khalifa International Bowling Center. I'm Lucas Wiseman of Bowl TV, along with Team USA member Chris Barnes. As Fagan leaves a 4-pin.
Yeah, the rapid fire shutter of the camera there was not a big. That's what that sidewards glance was about. It's one of the things that happens only in finals that you don't notice the rest of the time because it's actually quiet. The rest of the time you don't notice those extra noises.
And to his credit, he backed up a bit to try to get a little bit further away. So Frederick starts with a strike.
I don't know if there really is a favorite here in this match, other than I guess Team USA bowled better on the short than the long, and they already bowled on the short earlier. But the total difference between these two teams was 3 pins after the basically 18 games of qualifying that happened. So we do have a comment on the board that said that pros should not be allowed to compete against amateurs, and in this particular field, that would mean that no one would get to bowl because
there's a lot of pros in the tournament.
You know, even somebody like Karsten, who's not a PBA member per se, you know, almost nearly everyone that bowls in this tournament bowls for a living one way or the other. The fact that bowling doesn't consider guys who bowl amateur tournaments for money as pros, that's the only distinction between that and golf, where if anyone plays for money, they're pros.
Sean Rash, first frame. Delivers a strike. He's looked a lot more comfortable tonight in the medal round than he did basically the rest of the week so far leading up to this. He's bowled pretty well. No,
and he said in between, I talked to him for just a few minutes, and he said, you know, I finally feel comfortable. He threw a couple of strikes earlier like we talked about, and he doesn't have to try to strike anymore. Now he just has to get rhythm. You know, and he could be a real catalyst in this match for his team because he has not been the leader basically in any of them. He's kind of been the one that's surviving most of the time, and if he can get a little rhythm, obviously he can throw as many strikes as anybody in the world.
As you can see, a great crowd here at the Khalifa International Bowling Center as we watch Marshall Kent now, the anchor bowler, the youngest member of the team here for the United States, bowling in the anchor position, throwing his flame bowling ball.
Flame on.
As he gets the strike, and we're going to be all even after the first frame, it looks like.
Looks like Sean throwing an LT 48. I think Thomas Larson was throwing a Mad Antics. Mike Fagan throwing a Prodigy. Frederick Ogard throwing a Disorder. And Karsten throwing a dark-colored storm ball earlier. I don't know what he's throwing now.
It's so hard to tell the bowling balls apart these days.
Well, I get close enough and I'm being blocked by a sea of red.
Mike Fagan.
Right there in your background, that's what I'm seeing.
Fagan stepping up, second frame, kicking off. We're all even at this point. Our thanks to the folks at Abu Dhabi Sports Extra for sharing the feed with us. This is being broadcast live in Abu Dhabi and across the UAE. And so we thank them for giving us a TV quality feed for our live streaming.
Bowled in this pair a couple of times, and one time the left lane hooked more, and one time this morning it actually was the same. So
Frederick has been pretty good today. It starts off with a double as Denmark takes a very early lead. Please do us a favor, share the link to the live stream on your Facebook and Twitter. We would love if you would post the link, bowl.com/bowltv. We've got over 1,700 people watching right now. Great number. I kind of figured we'd have a good crowd given the good time that we're kind of in the sweet spot here for Europe and America. So we've got...
yeah, one of the few times when everybody's awake.
Exactly. So it's worked out pretty good. And 2 days from now, we'll have the team event finals at around the same time, starting at about 5:30 p.m. local time here. So make sure you tune in for that. You can find the schedule in Eastern Time in the United States at bowl.com/livestream. Hansen trying to start off with a double here as well for Denmark.
This is where I think it flips a little bit for Denmark, where Karsten was really, maybe their strongest player on the long. Here, this is the one he has to manipulate more than the rest, and where Frederick kind of can take over. Frederick and Thomas can take over as the strength of this group. So, somebody asking what I think about the new point system, and I think it has some potential. I do think that spares have to be added into the equation to make it a true representation. It didn't come into play at the World Series of Bowling when they bowled this point system because there was so many strikes, but overall I do think that. I think if they added that, then the system has merit and it's fairly easy to understand from an outsider's perspective.
Hansen looking to pick up the 10 pin, and he does, so we will take a look at the scoreboard for you real quick here. A little bit slower pace than the semifinals. Only one match going on makes it much easier to keep track of everything.
Ooh, almost got that one back.
That was Rash with an 8 pin. As we are midway through the second frame of our gold medal match here in Abu Dhabi. Lucas Wiseman and Chris Barnes with you live from the Khalifa International Bowling Center. A spectacular 40-lane venue here in Abu Dhabi. Larson coming up light, leaving the 2 pin. Kind of a quiet start so far to our gold medal match. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to settle in.
One of the things that urethane does to a lane, though, is where resin balls basically absorb a lot of oil and take it off the front part of the lane, the urethane balls are much more snow plows, and so they shove a lot of oil down lane, and so you'll see the lanes get much tighter here through frames 2, 3, and 4, particularly in the back end, and so players will struggle through a little bit of transition, and in the last 4 frames they'll settle in, and I think at that point is when you're going to see this match really decided. Who can make those final adjustments and throw 3 and 4 baggers down the stretch.
Marshall Kent, a chance for the only double for the U.S. so far, and a chance to even the game. And he does. Marshall Kent is quite a player, isn't he? One of the youngest members of Team USA, but he has shown time and time again that he is going to be one of the game's best, I think.
One of the things that probably impressed me most was at the Summer Series. I've seen him bowl really well, and obviously the U.S. Open last year, he put on a pretty dominating performance as still an amateur by definition, although he makes more money than most. And made the show at the U.S. Open, but in the Summer Series, he actually had something going on. His game was not really in top shape, and he made a show there, and that in some ways was more impressive to me that he could make a show against that field, not throwing it very good or not throwing it his best than when he was throwing his best. Good shot. It caught a handful of that one.
Orgaard stays perfect. 3 for 3 to start as Denmark has a 10-pin lead now.
Herb Lyons, a lot of amateurs are better than some of the pros. Well, maybe some of the pros, but not the ones that are making money. Oh, they just don't have the time and money for a PBA card. Well, if they were good amateurs and good enough to beat the pros, they would have plenty of money because they'd be beating up all of those amateur tournaments. So, I've had that argument, heard that argument, and once I was quote-unquote an amateur, and those same guys were talking about how the high roller guys in the late 90s were all better than the pros, and then 8 or 10 of us went out there and we all proceeded to get our teeth kicked in.
It's a much different world, isn't it?
It just, 15 years later, I have 17 titles, but but there's not a lot of titles in that group that was going to dominate the tour. So great shot by Karsten, and he goes out and throws a 3 or 4 bagger early, and that really will put a lot of heat on Team USA as Mike Fagan is not starting off with his usual 3, 4, or 5 baggers and is going to flip the switch a little bit on.
And he misses the spare. And we kind of thought coming in. This was a bit of a coin flip as to who was going to win. And right now, it is Denmark with the early edge. But it's a long game. We're only in the third frame. We've got a long ways to go here in our gold medal match in the trios event.
Nice shot. So Thomas Larson with the mad antics there. Looks like Carson's throwing a blue hammer, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like
not
it.
Mistaken. Color's right. Could be an Ebonite crush from the back in the day. Yeah, that's pretty big for U.S. Get Sean going a little bit.
Well, to give everybody an idea of where we go from here, the team event begins tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. local time, which is midnight Eastern time in the United States, 6 a.m. Central European time. 2 squads tomorrow of team event. Same thing on Saturday, 2 squads, and the semifinals will begin at, looks like 6:30 p.m. local time here, which would be 3:30 p.m. in the United States, in Central European time. And that would be, let's see here, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'm trying to do all the math in my head to change the times around. So Saturday morning at 9:30 if you're in the United States, that's going to be the time to tune in for the team medal round.
See Marshall taking a re-rack on lane 10, and you'll probably see quite a few of those. The rack on that lane is not that great.
You could tell that ball was going to go high about halfway down the lane.
Well, that's one of the things with urethane, though, is it doesn't continue off that spot once it hooks early. Lots of times it'll freeze right in there, and another probably 2 more frames, there's a good chance it doesn't go high enough to go 9-pin. And that's going to leave Denmark with, let's see, 626-pin lead, looks like.
And Denmark with the early edge here. We'll give you a look at the scoreboard now.
26 pins and also 3 strikes up, where the USA only has 1. Key frame early. They're able to follow those up with some friends here. This could, they can put a lot of pressure on the USA guys. Key for the US here is Mike Fagan's got to get back on track.
All right, so we start off the 4th frame. Mike Fagan, he has been pretty spectacular all day long and has struggled a little bit early on here. Spare open to start for Fagan. Messenger goes in front of the 10.
Pretty consistently seeing lane 9 be tighter down lane. Everybody's struggling to get the ball up through to the pocket. Or lane 10, the ball's coming back through him a little better. And here really is the, he is the only star of the match so far. Frederick Gogard has got a 3-bagger. Marshall Kent's got a double. No one else has a double. Everyone's struggling on the left lane.
One comes up
and
light.
He goes wide on that lane. Little surprise there.
Yeah,
well,
could have easily been a split. Lucky to kind of break it up. Leaves just the 2.
With his angles, his ball's not really. He's kind of overshelling just a little bit, and by that I mean using a lot of surface and making the ball blend the front to back part. He's not going to come in behind it and leave that 10 too often. Really shouldn't see too many by most of the players because they're not going to get behind it. Sean is one of the few guys using a ball that's reactive enough to make a sharper move down lane.
Picks up the spare here. Still a 25-pin lead for Denmark.
It is. It's still, but it's one dodge. It's one bullet dodge basically. So now you have, you didn't have a strike up, and you kind of broke even out of the frame, which the key for USA here, much like it was for Denmark there in frame 4 of their match with Korea. Korea had all the strikes, Denmark had none, and they got out of it clean without losing any pins and got to get some strikes up themselves, and they flipped it that very next frame.
The only chance for the U.S. to get a double on the board is right here, and Sean Rash delivers. Back-to-back strikes for Sean Rash. Take a look at the replay.
And that second double there, and that was an excellent shot. When Sean gets post-up shots, there's not very many balls that roll heavier than his. His rev rates actually only measures out at 425, and it looks like it's way closer to 475 because of his heavy roll and how quick he can get it into a roll.
Karsten Hansen looking for a double. Playing way outside with looked like a blue hammer, and he says, wow, couldn't believe that it hooked that much, huh?
Yeah, that's the same thing Mike's ball did on that lane too. It picked up way, 6 feet sooner than he was really looking for it to, and
even
urethane
Marshall's
can't
ball
hold
hooked
there.
a little bit early on that
Yeah,
lane
it did
too.
a little bit. You're right. So so you're picking up on exactly what's going on. The transition's going on. A lot of surface, even though balls aren't hooking a lot because there's a lot of urethane. They're not picking up in the front, and that's Marshall moving off the shot that hooked on the right lane. It's so hard to separate the two lanes sometimes. And you see a ball hook early, it's so hard to go on the other lane and go ahead and catch it and not react to what happened on the previous shot.
Cleans
Good
it up.
spare there.
All right, so a pretty close match here as we wind down the fourth frame. Marshall Kent shooting the 2-4-5 and makes it. Not exactly the way he wanted to make it, but it gets it done.
Well, and ultimately, Team USA is actually going to get out of this frame at least even with 2 spares and a double. Thomas Larson an opportunity here to strike and put his team back up 28 pins.
For the double.
Yeah,
Got it.
light shaker there.
Take a look at the replays. That ball just sails right in, and a little light hit carries. Here's a look at your scoreboard after 4 frames. 28-pin lead for Denmark.
Comment in here, Mike is killing me with that prodigy. Well, up until this game, he's killed everyone with that prodigy. 795 earlier today, and 279 the very first game as well. Back on track here. He's happy about that one because that was probably a pretty big move off the 3-6-10. Most likely 3 with his feet, 2 with his eyes, somewhere in that range. Although Mike's a big feel guy, it could be somewhere between 2 and 6. Frederick Ogard back up. Last shot was a 2-pin. Now he's going to go on the tight lane. What seems to be the tighter of the 2 lanes anyway. And it picks up early. So
goes high, leaves the 4-7.
Lane's going through transition now.
Just tuning in, you're watching our live coverage on Bowl TV of the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. This is our Trios Gold Medal match. I'm Lucas Wiseman along with Chris Barnes. We are live from Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, here at the Khalifa International Bowling Center as as Sean Rash goes for 3
There's
in
a
a
really
row, and
good
he
shot.
does.
Excellent shot. Got a question here. Why do Mark and Marshall using some of the older balls? Aren't there similar balls in the market? The pitch black is probably somewhat similar to a flame, but the pitch black has a core in it, and the old flame is just a 3-piece ball. And I don't know exactly what urethane they have on that ball. It's too far back for me to remember, but it's probably a little different than what they have here. Mike, the Prodigy, is probably the smoothest of the storm balls that he has, and I'm not sure right now what else, not knowing as much about their balls personally. I don't think there's another one really that's quite as smooth as that one, and it gives him the most urethane look without being urethane. Allows him to hook it a little bit, but he can throw it right a little faster, have it pick up and stay in the pattern and kind of blend out everything. which is really what everybody's trying to do with urethane. You're using slow response bowling balls, and urethane is the slowest of the responding balls on the market today. Karsten on a spare. This is his good lane so far.
That's a pretty good shot. Struck every time on that lane.
Yeah. Figuring out this right lane, he goes light one shot, and the next one hooked 6 feet sooner, so he's got to make a little move too. So I think they're about to settle down, though. Looks like front started to hook a little bit on 9. There may be one more move that everybody has to make for the USA players anyway when they come back on 9, and then the lane should settle down, and the last 4 frames could be.
I think we could have a shootout
here.
here.
It could be a shootout from there on.
Let's see what Marshall does to adjust after leaving the single pin on this lane last time. It looks a lot better.
Little move in, that one a little nicer to it there too. He didn't crack on that one quite so hard. Kind of rolled it a little bit, and so Team USA puts up a frame full of strikes. Here, Thomas Larsson again with an opportunity to put his team back up by 26. Excellent shot there. There's a reason why this guy's been the leader in the EBT points here in the last season, and that's not a list to be taken lightly when the likes of Osku, Martin Larsson,
and a lot of American players these
Dominic
days too.
Barrett, just Paul Moore. There's guys littering that list, and I'm missing several.
Stu
Jesper
Williams.
Svensson.
Yep, sure.
Stu's more American now than he is. I
There's
don't
a lot
know.
of
We're not really claiming him either.
Yeah,
So
I don't think anybody
but,
wants him, except maybe Tina. One of the great
not to fool
mysteries
them all,
of
you
the
just
world.
have to fool one. Right, Lucas?
That's right. Amen, brother.
Yeah.
All right, 6th frame, getting started. Let's take a quick look at the scoreboard here before Fagan throws this next shot.
Again, these guys are bowling on the 38-foot Atlanta pattern. Team USA was the high seed, so they got to pick the pattern.
Here's some children yelling in the background. Hopefully it's not a distraction. Fagan finally gets a double on the board. A slow start to this game, but Team USA starting to put some strikes on the board.
And with that strike, that pulls him back to 16, no matter what Frederick does here, as he's on a spare. So Denmark still with the lead. Frederick Ågaard got them off to a fantastic start. Basically posted most of that lead himself. Whoa!
2-8-10. He flirted with it last time on that lane, and it comes true this time.
He did, and it looked like he made a move based off his teammates. And once his ball got through the front, it just kept going that time. That one looked pretty good. I got to say, most of the lane. I think he was surprised too. It was not a shot he thought was going to go light.
That means
here's a huge chance now for Sean to flip the script a little bit. That's in.
Wow, got lucky,
Very
broke
fortunate.
up the split, leaves the 3-6, but
Came up out of that one a little bit. So
that was a chance for the U.S. to take the lead right there.
it was, and
Still
now
pretty
Karsten
close,
and
though.
Thomas both have strikes up. So
Yep.
they'll have a chance to recapture some of the pins they lose right here as Frederick gets the 2 pins. Loses a little bit of count, tightens that part up as well. And
Rash
now
needs
a
to
2-pin lead.
cover the spare here, and he does. So a very tight match, virtually neck and neck here. Now's a good time to tell your friends, family, your mates, everybody. Tell your mom. Get on the live streaming. We've had a lot of moms watching. We get tweets from people who say they've gotten their moms to watch. So grab your mom, bring her over to the computer, and watch the live streaming here on bowl.com/BowlTV. Karsten Hansen looking for a double to extend the lead for Denmark.
Gotta go. And he does. Big shot there. 2. That extends their lead back out to
About a dozen or so.
actually it's just 4. Just No, you're right. You're right because of Thomas Larson's double here. It's 14.
14. Yep.
14 pins. Marshall up on a strike has a chance to put a little bit of heat back on. Oh boy.
3, 6, 9,
And
10.
anything
Didn't like
but
it.
right there.
Yep.
That is a hard spare in the best of times, and with a urethane ball.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, actually, urethane or not, I can't really think of any time I want to shoot the 3, 6, 9, 10.
Yeah, not easy. Not sure what exactly Marshall did on that. He pulled up on it or what he did, but
Yeah, just had a time. He just
yeah.
closed his shoulder down after the last one. So,
this is a big shot here for Thomas Larson.
chance to take a big lead. And he does.
Wow. That is clutch right there.
Ball gave him a little bit of room there. That one got a little wide, and where some people's are wiggling, that one didn't. That one made the hill and mixed him up pretty good. So,
Boy, after the leadoff bowlers in this frame, you thought it was going to flip pretty quick in the U.S.'s favor, but it's gone the other direction pretty fast here.
good spare there. 24-pin lead. Marshall was on a single strike, so didn't lose any count. But so 24 pins.
There's the scoreboard for you.
And Denmark does have 2 strikes up this frame. The lone opportunity for the U.S. to put up a double is right here, Michael Fagan. And I would say, as much as you don't want to have must strikes, you really don't need them to take a couple of free swings at getting this to 40 or 50.
Yeah, they've only got 4 frames to go. As Fagan steps up, working on a double.
We are over a couple of thousand viewers. Good morning,
Yeah.
America. Good afternoon, Europe.
And good evening, Middle East.
And good night, Asia.
Pretty much. Fagan.
Oh!
That's a big break, getting that 10 out right there.
Yeah, that was a little light shaker. Looked like he was going to leave the half 10 anyway, and mixed him down.
Here's the replay on that shot. Watch the 10. 6-pin caught a piece of it and knocked it out. Trying to rebound after the split last frame. Not a great shot, leaves the 3-pin.
I think the U.S. was actually down 34. That puts it back down to 24 down. Sean Rash, chance to get back on some strikes here.
Oh, Rash sent a couple of pins at that one, took it out.
Well, that's that bad rack we were talking about there. The 3-6 got a little too far apart. He goes light shaker, and the 6-pin just tumbles straight sideways because it was. Probably should have taken a little closer look at the rack because I'm sure that one wasn't very good. Big strike. He and Marshall both didn't give them their best effort there that last frame. So the only bad part about that is if there was transition to be had on lane 9, they will have missed that move. So.
All right, Marshall Kent to close out the 7th frame for Team USA. Oh boy. Goes high, leaves the 4-9.
Really the amazing part about his ball, it's 0.006 differential. I mean, this thing doesn't flare at all, and how much it hooks down lane sometimes.
Marshall can't believe it. It's a huge opportunity for Denmark here. 7th frame, Hansen working on a double. Puts another one on the board.
Good move after the last shot. It's a 3-bagger, puts them up to 34 plus right here, 36 plus probably, provided Marshall is a very good spare shooter, but a 4-9 probably no better than 20% shot.
Well, a disappointing frame there for Marshall Kent. As now Thomas Larson will have a chance to throw his 5th consecutive strike and expand the lead greatly here for Denmark.
Let's move the lead to 47, I believe.
I'll give you a look at the scoreboard after this frame is over. And he pulls it and gets
they
8.
They got a break there and kind of avoided a huge potential deficit. So
I think it's at 35 right now, Denmark in the lead.
looks about right.
Every once in a while I get it.
Hey. Uh-oh. Oh, I forgot he backs it up at it. From here, I look way left.
Covers it up, though, and that's
Yep.
the end of the 7th frame. And we still have a relatively close match here going into the last 3 frames.
Want to ask if I bowled in a league on a house shot and what do I average? I haven't bowled in a league. I bowled a little bit of league a few years back and averaged about 238. So much more of a recreational activity in that bowling league at home. Frederick on a spare and a ball change.
And still leaves a 2-8 combination. Although he got the 10 out this time, so I guess you would say it's better.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad play at this point for him. After that early 3-bagger, he's had both a combination of high and light, and it's time to do something a little different. Either change some speeds and get his ball, get away from the early friction and give it time to hook down lane, or go to something different with his balls and show something different. I don't know. I can't tell exactly what it is. Mike Fagan up on a 3-bagger. Chance to cut into this deficit just a little bit. Just now 33 pins.
Fagan, 10-pin on the double.
Lead stays at 34.
Nice crowd again here this evening. Pretty full bleachers behind us here at the Khalifa International Bowling Center. A lot of people showing up to watch the finals. Chris, I imagine it's much more fun to bowl in front of a full house than it is in front of
absolutely.
half-dozen people.
The energy is just much different when you have a full house like this. It's really a lot of fun when you have this many people here, and the energy is buzzing in here too. So it doesn't always translate over a webcast like this, but
well, it's nice that we have the crew from Abu Dhabi local TV to show you some of the shots of the crowd and the venue here, which is nice. Once again, our thanks to them and our thanks to the Emirates Bowling Federation for their help in making this possible. And also to the manager of the bowling center, Bajat. Thank you to him as well for helping to give us the tools we need to make this live streaming possible. Another look at the great crowd here tonight. This big shot here, Karsten Hansen, the only player for Denmark who can expand the lead, working on 3 strikes in a row.
oh, see that pickup super
It
quick.
did. Leaves the 3-6 on the triple.
And here's actually a little bit of opportunity for the U.S. to pick up some pins in a frame where they looked like where they might not.
But we thought that that this might open up and become a bit of a scoring fest here at the end, but it's more of a grind-out match so far. As Rash will back off. Team event starts tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. here in the UAE. You can find the schedule in Eastern Time in the United States at bowl.com/livestream. If you want to see when the upcoming rounds are, as Rash now steps up working on a strike. Great shot.
Big
Puts
shot
the
there.
double.
Takes the lead down to 21.
Yeah, that's where it will stay if we stay clean here through the rest of this frame, as Denmark doesn't have any more strikes to work with. And a chop. That'll make things a lot closer.
And it was 9. 10. An even 10.
This is going to come down to the wire. Sure seems like it. And honestly, that's what we like to see. We like close matches here on Bowl TV. Makes it exciting. As a bowler, you may prefer to have a blowout, but for us,
Well,
we
only
like
if
to
you're
have the
lead-
close ones.
only if you're
leading.
leading.
Exactly.
Yes.
We prefer the close matches here, regardless of who wins. So Marshall Kent steps up in the 8th. He has not bowled his best game so far. Whips it in there. Gets a little late love on the 7 for the strike and slaps it out.
Big break there.
Look at the replay on this one. Watch the 7 go. Oh, looked like the 4-pin got it.
Actually, the team event final will not be tomorrow.
No, it is not.
No,
it
we
is 2
actually
days
do-
from now.
It's 2 days from now.
Yep.
Tomorrow will be only the long pattern.
3 games tomorrow, round 1 of the team event. There's a nice shot as the head pin sails vertically across the deck. And here's a look at the scoreboard as we have just 2 frames to go.
2 frames to go, and we have a 10-pin game.
Yes, it is. Exactly 10.
And USA has 2 strikes up. Opportunity if everyone strikes out from here, we would have a tie.
That's even
And yes,
more
I said
exciting.
the possibility of a tie.
We like close matches, but we like ties even better here on Bowl TV, especially in gold medal matches. Nothing more exciting than a roll-off. So here we go. Mike Fagan, 9th frame, working on a spare. 2 frames left here in our gold medal match in the trios.
Oh. Mike was the only one who did not strike last frame, so that wasn't for a double, but keeps it at 10 pins.
But
To go
every strike here in the 9th frame is critical because it can carry forward into the
Well,
10th.
they're all set. Yeah, they're all set up shots, and
That
they
foundation
will tell you
frame.
whether you have a chance to keep it in your hand, destiny in your own hands or not.
Frederick looking to answer with a strike of his own here. And he gets
Really
it.
good shot there. And, you know, that's the difference between the players who have made this medal round and the guys who didn't is everybody goes through some transition and gets lost a little bit. He goes through, makes a ball change, and makes a great shot in the 9th frame to keep his team.
Well, you said that Rash
Ahead.
likely had a bad rack last time on that right lane. He did take a re-rack this time.
I would imagine the guys are looking a little closer for it
Yeah.
now. Sean tends not to look at too many racks anyway.
Strike here evens things up. He liked it. Gave a little leg kick when he let it go. I think he thought it was
liked
pretty
that
good.
one. That was a good shot, but I believe this is the pair that Tommy bowled his match on, and he left that little kind of, there's a half pocket, but it was almost like an 8-10 8-pin. And then followed it shortly thereafter with a 4-9, and then with a ring and 10 all in the same lane. And so that pocket gets a little tight. 3-6 get a little too far away. It gets tough to knock it over. One question, what happens if there's a tie?
Oh, wow. Got lucky there to break up the split for Karsten Hansen. Leaves just the 6 pin.
And to be honest, I'm not sure exactly what the tiebreaker rule is now. At one point in time, when we tied with Korea and Thailand, it was one player, the 5, bowled the 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
Yep, I remember that.
And I'm not sure anybody thought that was a great solution, so I'm not sure if it's a team 9th and 10th frame roll-off
Yeah, I'm not sure.
or not.
If we get to that point, tournament director Pekka Korpi will let us know
He
what
will
the
let us know
situation
what
is.
what the deal is, I'm sure.
It's pretty tight right now. Certainly could have a tie. The way things are going. It's right now an 11-pin lead for Denmark.
Yep. Marshall and Thomas Larson both on a single strike. And while lane 10 tends to be the better reacting lane for most of the players, it is the one with the worst rack, which I'm sure is why Team USA chose to finish on lane 9.
A couple of intense looking faces right there. As the cameraman doing a good job giving us a look at
this is
both
it.
guys.
This is what you've worked a long time for. Denmark's put in a lot of time over the last few years with training. They brought Mika over last year to work with their team for a while, and they put a really concerted effort into this moment right here.
Great shot. Thomas Larsen delivers in the 9th, and that pushes the lead to 21 for Denmark. What a shot as the 10-pin just fell straight back, and now a lot of pressure on Marshall Kent to
You see a
answer.
player post up a shot like this all the way to the foul until it hits the pins, you know he's through it good.
Big shot here for Marshall Kent. 4-9 last time on this lane.
He's got a share.
Oh, it hooks again. He has just been
Looks like-
struggling on that lane.
Yeah, I think he made a parallel move there, and he moved right into more hook. Looked like a move where he went like 1 and 1 left, and as soon as he moved there, he moved right into where Karsten and some of the other guys have been playing.
And a look of disappointment as they had a nice close look at Marshall Kent's face there. Team USA going to be down by 21 going into the 10th frame.
21 with only 1 strike up, and
Yep.
Denmark having 2. Denmark is definitely in the driver's seat.
Marshall looks a little distraught. He's got to get it together here and make
Yeah,
the spare.
He'll be fine, but
Oof, does make it. 1 frame to go. Let's take a look at the scoreboard as we wind things down here in the trios gold medal match. It is very close, but Denmark with a 21 pin advantage heading into this final frame. Can feel the pressure in the room.
really
Intensity.
is. And this is probably the most important shot of the match for the USA guys. So 1 chance to double. They basically have to have a double out of Mike Fagan here.
And the only chance to cut into the deficit at all is right here, right now. Mike Fagan.
Push.
He's been great all day, and there's another great shot from Mike Fagan. Double on the board, USA within 11.
It flips things back over to Frederick, who last time 2-8'd on the ball change, so that was his kind of lineup shot. Made a great shot in the 9th. It's a chance to make it pay off here.
Marshall still can't believe what happened earlier.
Yeah. Didn't have much choice but to let that go.
Yep, got to put it behind him. Let's see
no
what
more
Frederick
shots on that
does.
lane. He gets to go on the other one that he liked.
He struggled the last couple of times on this lane. Looking to
Oh,
be the
man.
hero.
Set that
Instead,
pin.
he leaves the split, and it is very interesting now. 3-6, 7-10 split.
The one thing about it, he doesn't lose any count there because he's on a single strike. So really, they still have an 11-pin advantage here. But Mike Fagan has a chance to make this into a 1-pin game and put all of the heat on Frederick to make the spare. The side note is this count is super important here.
Yes,
the
it
difference
is.
between 2 and 3, each pin being double. Between 1 pin down and 3 pins down, potentially.
Fagan working on a double to pull within 1 pin for the U.S. Oh my! What a huge break for the U.S. and Mike Fagan. Look at the replay as he breaks it up for the strike and the lead. Or sorry, and a 1 pin. It'll be the lead if he does not get a couple of pins here. We are neck and neck, folks. Do you go for this, Chris?
Yes, absolutely. This is a very makeable spare. About a 10-board move left. He actually shot it with a spare ball.
Oh.
Slid just by it.
Loses a couple of pins in count there.
And that's interesting because it actually leaves the USA with a 3-pin lead now.
Yep.
Every shot important, even Mike's fill ball here is going to be important. He's going to have to, it's still important that he makes a move here and that he gets 9 or better and leaves just a little bit of room, any room at all. Because really they don't have the lead because Denmark has the extra strike up.
Needs to fill it up here, and he does.
Go. That gives them the 3-pin lead, but they don't have the highest possible score. Denmark still has the highest possible. If everybody strikes out, Denmark still wins by 7.
Yep, it's still in Denmark's hands, but the U.S. has the lead for now. And what a finish from Mike Fagan, by the way. Finishing with 7 out of 8 strikes to close that game after a rocky start to get to 223. And we're in for a treat here. 2 bowlers to go. We don't know who's going to win yet.
No.
3-pin lead for Team USA.
Last time on this lane, Karsten's ball went high again like it did earlier. I would anticipate another 2 to 3 board move with his feet. He's got to trust that it's going to make it back.
This has been the tricky lane.
He got it to the right. Is it going to make it?
Doesn't get all the way back to the pocket. Leaves the 2-8 on the spare. That pushes the lead to 5 for Team USA.
That ball reaction right there is why I'm sitting here talking. I did that a lot.
Well, now the situation is this: if Rash doubles in the 10th, the U.S. controls its destiny.
Yes. Now if everybody strikes out,
The U.S. wins.
the U.S. it's flipped over to the other side. They have a 5-pin lead now. Guys are saying USA is used to the pressure. There's still no pressure like bowling for your country. It's not the same. You get a few more chances to bowl under this type of pressure, sort of, but it's still different here because this is a one-time thing. That's got to hurry. He missed that.
Oh, he got real lucky to get the split out. Leaves the 2. 10 goes out late. And he whipped that one down there with a little extra gusto and almost split on that shot.
Yeah, he missed that one.
4-pin lead for the United States right now.
This is still no bargain here. Every time Carson's got it right early, it's overhooked in the front. And if he does it here, he's going to miss it left. If it doesn't pick up in the front a little bit, though, it won't hook down lane.
Let's see if he covers it up.
Push through the front. He's good there.
He got it.
Yep. Good spare. Really good spare.
Now Rash will step up to make his spare. And he does. So we just have a couple of fill balls to go here. Good time to give you a look at the scoreboard as we wrap it up.
And we're at right now. You have a 14-pin lead.
Yep, that's what I got it at too. 14-pin lead for the U.S. So we get a little closer look at the scoreboard there. Comes up light, gets 9. Maximum
that
score.
One really doesn't matter a whole lot one way or the other. This is the one that's going to matter more.
Max score for Denmark is going to be 647. As Rash fires a messenger across for the strike. And the max score for the United States would be 652. So if they both strike out, then the U.S. will win.
Yeah, max score now is flipped. And that's, sorry, we said it was a 4-pin. It was actually 14, but the max score is still just 5 pins in the U.S.'s favor. Thomas Larson, though, down 14. This is a must-strike ball.
It's come down to the last bowler on each side. Working on a double. Crowd on the edge of their seats here in Abu Dhabi. What will Thomas Larson do here? Asking for it to hook, and it does! 3 in a row, and he doesn't look thrilled with it, but he'll take it. It's a strike.
It's not really not looking thrilled. That's actually a move of a guy who's gotten a bowl in a lot of finals. And he knows himself a little bit, and he's gotten pumped up a few times and made some shots that he'd like to have back. He knows he can't get excited there because the next one he's gonna gas.
But I'm not sure he was thrilled with the.
No, he'll take whatever
when
he
he let it go.
Beggars don't need to be choosers.
That's right.
In this situation, you just want strikes, but you have to manage your emotions.
So a lot of pressure here now on Marshall Kent, who has struggled pretty significantly in this game.
And he has struggled in this game, but if there's anyone who, the one thing about youth, and Marshall's 22 years old, is you have unlimited confidence.
So here we go. Neck and neck. Marshall Kent through the face.
Now we have
3-6-10.
2-pin game. All right.
So the max score for Team USA now is
Basically, this falls all.
639.
It falls all on Thomas Larson. If he strikes here,
They win.
they basically will win. The best Team USA can shoot is 639.
Strike here. Denmark is going to win the gold. Here it is. Oh, he rolls the two! Oh, what a shot! The 2-pin rolls forward, and Denmark is going to win the gold. Wow, what a break. Got it a little light and gets the lucky tickle on the 2, and Denmark is going to take it. What a match here. Holy smokes, that was some shot right
That's
there.
an amazing break.
Wow.
It really looked like a pretty good shot, but that's why Thomas was trying to imagine his emotions. It was just a little bit firm. It was online, and he caught it pretty good, both.
Needs just 3 pins here for the shutout on this shot. Heck of a match.
This one will not be going very far right.
Should just pitch it right up the middle. He's going to go for it here,
Yep.
and he does.
Missed a little left.
Yep, it's a strike. Denmark wins gold here in Abu Dhabi in the trios event. What a performance for the Danes. Frederick Orgaard, Karsten Hansen, and Thomas Larson win the gold as they topple the United States, the top seed in the championship match. What a match here. We knew that it was a toss-up to see who was going to win, and Denmark comes through to pick up the win with a 647. Team USA will be at 639 with a strike on the last ball. Final ball, final score, 647, 638. Great match, Chris.
It was a great match, and there's a lot of moves going on. It was a tough match for both teams as the lanes transitioned a lot and made some good moves at the end. We figured the last 3 frames were decided. Thomas Larson throwing the back 5, and basically by himself, he's the one that made the biggest difference. Mike Fagan threw the back 4. Everyone else kind of struggled down the stretch to figure out how to get them to knock them over, and in the end, it comes down to one shot, and that's World Championship, high caliber players all the way around. It's
Well, Chris, get your thoughts. I guess you're heading into the team event now tomorrow. Everything kind of really shifts focus-wise, as the team event is really the big event of the tournament. What are your thoughts going into the team event for Team USA tomorrow?
Well, I think, Rod's toughest decision with our team tomorrow is to figure out how to sit 3 guys. We've actually kind of struggled to really strike very much, with the exception of Tommy and Mike. So I don't know what he's going to decide, but we have to make some adjustments. There's 3 of us that really have to make a lot of adjustments here going on, and all of us have struggled on one of the 2 patterns. So 4 of us really, except those 2. So we're going to make some changes. We're going to play them together and use hopefully the pictures that the good bowlers are using to our advantage to create some of the same shapes. And there's some awfully strong teams. It'll be a tough go.
Well, Chris Barnes, thanks for joining us. Good luck in the team event the next couple of days, and hopefully we won't see you back here in the broadcast.
Well, it'd be nice to make one of these medal rounds this week.
Chris Barnes sitting in with us, and congratulations again to Denmark on just a fantastic performance. They made the shots they needed to make to win, and they win 647 to 638 here in Abu Dhabi. Team event tomorrow. We'll be back with you starting at 9 o'clock. You can find the live stream schedule in Eastern Time at bowl.com/livestream. Well, for Chris Barnes and Matt Cannizzaro on the sidelines, writing the recap for bowl.com.
Doing all the real work.
That's right, doing
That's
all
right.
the real work. I'm Lucas Wiseman. Thanks, guys, for joining us again. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on Bowl TV.
All right.
Det er lidt mere spændende, vi har behov for.
Ja,
Du weißt, die These ist gedacht, jetzt mehr. Vielleicht mal die Deutschen. Kein Block oder nicht mehr.
Thank you.